Welcome to part 1 of the review. We are going to be talking about writing equations of lines. So we have the slope formula. Alright, you also need to remember that it is rise over your run. Slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b, point slope form. Alright, you also need to remember that parallel lines have the same slope and perpendicular is opposite flipped. So we will use these equations and formulas to help us answer the questions. Number 1, it says write the equation of a line. So very first thing you're going to do is list a point and the slope. If you notice, there are 2 points. You can choose any point that you want to do. So I am going to choose this coordinate point right there. So that means that every point has an x and a y. So I go over to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I go up 3. So my coordinate point is 4, 3. Now what I'm also going to do is find the slope, which is your rise over your run. Rise over your run. So that means I went up 1, and I went over 1, 2, 3, 4. And you also got to remember that your slope is a negative because it's going down. So it is negative 1/4. So now what I'm also going to do is write the equation of a line in point slope form. Because you have a point and the slope, so you write it in point slope form, which is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So now we're going to plug those numbers in that we need. So it is y minus 3 is equal to your slope, which is negative 1/4, parentheses x minus 4. So that is your point slope form. Now if you use your other coordinate point is 0, 4. So to put that in point slope form, it would be y minus 4 is equal to negative 1/4, x minus 0. Both of them would be correct. Now what you're going to do is transform those equations into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So your y equals mx plus b, that means you need your slope and your intercept. So what you can do is take your equation in point slope form and transform it. So you're going to distribute the negative 1/4. So it is y minus 3 is equal to negative 1/4 x. Negative 1/4 times negative 4 gives you a positive 1 because a negative times a negative is you guessed it, a positive. Now you're going to get your y by itself. So y equals negative 1/4 x plus 4. So we just completed number 1. Now number 2 says we want to write the equation of a line with the given information in any form. So I see slope of 2 and a y-intercept of 4. So if you see slope and y-intercept, that's your m, that's your b. So when you have a slope and a y-intercept, we're going to use, let's take a look. We have the slope and we have a y-intercept. So we're going to use slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b. So you're going to plug in the numbers. M is 2x, plus y-intercept of 4. And remember, that is where it crosses the y-axis. Letter B says we need to find the slope, which we have, which is your m, and you're given through this point. When you have a slope and the point, you want to write it in point slope form. So y, if you notice, your y value is a negative. That means you got to put it in opposite. Positive 4 is equal to your m, which is 1/2, and then x minus 2. And that is it. Letter C, if you notice, we just have 2 points. So I have 2 points. That means I'm going to go up there and see which one has the word point. Okay, if you notice, I have point. Okay, point slope form. So what do you think we're going to do? We are going to find the slope, which is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So you're going to identify your x1. I am going to erase the thing on top just so that I have room to write. So it is x1, y1, x2, y2, because you have 1 point and 2 points. Plug it in. 3 minus 9 all over negative 2 minus negative 5. If you notice, I have two negatives. When I have two negatives, that becomes a positive. So 3 minus 9 is negative 6. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. Negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. So that represents my slope. Okay, so I have a point and I have the slope. So you're going to put it in point slope form. You get to choose which point you want to do. So you can do y minus 9 is equal to negative 2, x plus 5, because again, you do the opposite. Or you could do y minus 3 is equal to negative 2, parentheses, x plus 2. And they would both be correct. Letter D says we want to find an equation with undefined slope through this point. So think about undefined slope. Which one has undefined slope? You guessed it, it is a Vux. So if it's a vertical line, undefined slope, x equals. Okay? So if it's an x equals equation, you want to look at your coordinate point, negative 7 and 1. Which one is x? X is negative 7. That is your solution. So if you had to look at a graph, negative 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, positive 1, the coordinate point would be right there, and it's going to be a vertical line going through that. Okay. All right, next question. So it says we want to write the equation of a line that passes through the point and is parallel to the line shown. Okay, if you need to remember, parallel means that we have the same slope. Okay, they go in the same direction, they never cross. So what we're going to do now is we have to find out the line that is parallel to this line, and it goes through this point. So the point that I have is, all right, go over 1, 2, 3, 3, comma 1, and your slope is, okay, now we have to have the same slope as the line that is right here. So you're going to pick two nice points that's easy to see the slope. This one's a little challenging, sorry guys. But I connect the 2 points, and you got to remember slope is rise over your run. So how much did you go up? I went up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I went to the left 2. So that means my slope is a negative. So now all we're going to do is put it into point slope form, because you have a point, you have a slope, point slope. So it is y minus 1 is equal to negative 5 over 2 x minus 3. And that is it. That is an equation of a line that is parallel to the given line and through that point. If you wanted to, you can get your y by itself and put into slope-intercept form. But this would be okay. Number 4 says, write the equation of a line that passes through negative 2, 4, and is perpendicular to this equation. Perpendicular means that your slopes are opposite, flipped. Opposite reciprocals. Okay? Now, the slope of the given line is 4. If it helps you, put a 1 underneath it. Perpendicular, the symbol I just drew means perpendicular. Okay, the slope would be opposite. If it's a positive, it becomes a negative. Flip it, it's going to be 1 over 4. So I have a slope. I have the point. So which one is it going to be? Point slope. So y minus 4 is equal to negative 1/4, parentheses, x. Since it's negative, do the opposite, and that's it. And number 5, write an equation of a line that passes through negative 2, 4, and is perpendicular to 2x plus 3y is equal to 6. If you notice, your equation is in standard form, so what you're going to do is transform that into slope-intercept form. That means you need to get your y by itself. So I'm going to cover up the y, and you want to get your x on the other side. If it's positive, I'm going to subtract. 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 6. Is your y by itself? It is not, so I'm going to divide every single thing by 3. So my new equation is y equals negative 2/3 x plus 2. Sorry guys, that 3 was not pretty, so let me fix that. So again, your slope is negative 2/3 x plus 2. Now, if you notice, it is in slope-intercept form. So now what you can do is figure out what your slope is. So the slope of the line is negative 2/3. That means if it's perpendicular to that line that we just found, it's going to be your slope that is perpendicular is opposite. So negative becomes a positive, and you flip it over. So you have your slope. You have a point. You put it in point slope. So y minus 4 is equal to 3/2 parentheses x plus 2. And that is how we reviewed how to write equations of a line.